You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Friday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
If you guys remember, a few weeks ago, I was talking some shit saying that kicking a field goal is easy.
You know what? In case you don't remember, here it is.
Well, a lot of people were calling me out on that, and here in Kingston, the folks at Queen's University asked us if we wanted to try and kick some field goals.
And when we got approached with this idea, I was so on board. I was like, this is going to be great. We're going to get to go down to a real football stadium. We're going to get to go down to a real football stadium at Richardson Stadium here in Kingston. I'm going to watch you embarrass yourself. You're going to have to eat your words like you have on so many of these other bets. Maybe I'll get to kick a field goal. It'll be great. And then we get there, and there's 100 football players standing behind us.
112 to be specifically.
I about shit my pants. I was so nervous to kick the damn thing.
They all lined up behind us. We started from the 10. I missed that one wide left. You got it, though.
But oh my God, you watching the video, and we'll put it in the podcast links for the show today.
Yeah.
I got the straight leg, 1940s NFL boot.
Yeah.
And it just goes over
You got
the
the
bar.
Make-A-Wish kick, yeah. We went to the 15 after that. We both missed it. That was brutal. Then from the 20, we both got it. I mean, you got a little assistance. Someone gave you a little doink.
Which was great athletic attempt by that person and not me.
And then I took one from the 25.
Which was the distance you were talking the shit about.
And I gotta say,
you skied it.
I sailed that, dude.
You could have hit a 35. Mm-hmm. If you'd have hit that kick, you probably could have hit a 35-yard field goal with that. Which, hey, that'll win you a game.
I was Mike Vanderjack in his prime right there.
What a reference.
Canadian legend, dude. If you want to see the video for yourself, check the podcast links. But thank you to Queens for having us out.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Noel from Gino's Paisanos, because for every kick that we made, he did donate $100 to Breast Cancer Canada, so we got an extra $400 there, which is awesome.
Yes.
And I will never do something like that again, because it was intimidating as hell having all those football players watch us.
I will say, though, when I hit that first field goal that just went over the bar, and I ran back and I put my back to the horseshoe of
the
football
boys
players.
Were stoked.
They were gassing me up, and I was like, I could do this for real.
I know. When I hit that 25-yarder, I didn't fall asleep till 11:30 last night because I had the I haven't had that sports rush in a long time.
A 25-yard mean nothing practice facility field goal is the highlight of your athletic career now.
Oh, dude, the amount of daps I got last night, it's a high I'll be chasing for the rest of my life.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I had a thought while I was driving around and seeing all the Halloween decorations that are going up and stuff like that. Everybody's trying to make their house spooky. Are you obligated to tell your real estate agent if you're selling a house if it's haunted? If there's a ghost in your house?
I mean, I think there's a rule that at least if there's a murder that happened in the house,
right? Yeah.
It has to be disclosed.
But what if not all haunted houses had a murder happen in the house?
True.
What if your house just happens to be somewhat gently possessed and you've decided that it's time to move? Do you have to disclose?
Probably not, because not everybody believes in that mumbo jumbo, right?
What would you do if you were house shopping right now and your real estate agent was like, all right, so I'm going to show you this one here. It's a really nice 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, upstairs, downstairs. It's a great house, great price. I will say slightly haunted.
There is a poltergeist here you should know about.
Do you be like, all right, we don't need to see this house, or do you still go look at it?
I don't know if I could do it, man. I mean, I will say this. If I bought a house and then I found out it is haunted
afterwards,
and I'm like, I can't live here, I think the move is you put it on Airbnb.
Oh.
Do you know how many people want to stay at haunted? There's so many haunted hotels and haunted houses.
True.
People all across this province in this city pay damn good money to go stay at.
All you got to do is get a couple of TikToks to pop of you getting some footage of something.
Knock a couple pictures off the wall,
happening.
Whatever it is.
Right. No one's saying it has to be legitimate. Just make it look good.
Yeah.
And then put it on Airbnb.
Yeah, you just rent out rooms and you stand outside them and go, woo.
You're in full scam territory
Hell,
now.
if you live in a bad neighborhood right now and you've been struggling to sell your house because of your neighborhood,
sure,
list it online as haunted. I mean, technically, you're not lying.
Right. No one says haunting has to be about spirits and ghosts and corporeal things. It's haunted by terrible neighbors.
It's haunted by guys riding their bikes at 3 a.m.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Would you live in a haunted house?
As a matter of fact, I kind of did one time.
Oh.
Believe it or not, man. There was a little girl spirit in this house. And she used to take the toothbrush or the hairbrush or the TV converter, and it would be gone for days, and then it would just show up in the stupidest spot, like in the kitchen cupboard.
Dude, based on what you just described, I don't mean to knock your experience, but it sounds like all of our houses are haunted.
Yeah, no doubt, No, but this was weird, man. This really was. Like, you could hear a little girl's voice all the time. Yeah, it was kind of cool and kind of creepy at the same time.
That sounds terrifying, brother.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get what he's saying. I have the same thing in my house. Like, maybe my house is haunted because, like, my remote or, like, my key, like, stuff will just go missing. But my little spirits are 10, 8, alive, and I have to take them to school.
Yes, so you are raising demons.
That's the thing. Is your house haunted, or do you just have kids?
I will say, if I was a ghost and I was haunting a house,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I would do. I would keep putting shampoo in their hair while they're, like, trying to rinse it out and stuff like that.
Like, you wouldn't be the type of ghost that's, like, shattering windows, blood pouring down from the outlets and all that stuff. You would just be, like, small inconveniences.
Yeah. Just flushing the toilet in the middle of the night kind of behavior. Unplug their phone at night so they wake up and it's dead.
Casper, the pain in the ass ghost? That's you in the afterlife?
Yeah. Put in the work, you know?
I like the idea of just being an inconvenience. It's like all these haunted houses and horror movies and stuff like that. The ghost is always out for like murder and revenge and all these awful things. And you're just like, what if I moved your coffee table over an inch more than you're used to so you bump into it in the morning?
Yeah, while they're doing work on their computer, I just hit the caps lock all the time. Little things like that.
Unplug it so they lose their progress. Like, oh, sorry, man.
Unplug the Wi-Fi.
Oh, what a bummer that is.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We see some wild headlines on the internet all the time, and it just makes our brains go crazy with puns.
Just bizarre stuff.
So I want to try and do a pun battle.
Ooh.
And if it goes well, maybe we'll make this a regular thing.
Bad puns?
I saw this headline. A British man passed away at the age of 78, and his body was donated to science, where they discovered he has 3 penises.
Sorry, he has what now?
3 penises.
Okay, sure.
So take that as you will. We'll go back and forth. Best pun wins.
Yeah, okay. I've got a couple that come to mind on that one.
All right, read the headline and then drop your pun.
A British man passed away at the age of 78 recently and had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. You think that's weird? He also donated a ball pit.
It's pretty good. A British man passed away at the age of 78 and recently had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. Some say his wife was still disappointed.
Poor gal. A British man passed away at the age of 78 recently and had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. A smart man always comes with a backup plan.
A British man passed away at the age of 78 recently and had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. I heard his trousers fit like a glove. Oh, you get it?
Like a glove.
Yeah, multiple. You know.
A British man passed away at the age of 78 recently and had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. The man wasn't religious, but would often refer to his Holy Trinity.
Yeah. Catholic school, I get that. A British man passed away at the age of 78 and recently had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. I heard this guy was shagging left, right, and center.
Really covered all bases with that one. A British man passed away at the age of 78 recently and had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. And you know what they say, 3 dongs don't make a right.
I got a couple more. Okay, sure. British man passed away at the age of 78 recently and had his body donated to science, where they discovered he had 3 penises. Heard he was pretty cocky.
Shit. I don't have one that beats that.
I got one more.
You got one more?
I got
Okay.
one more.
All right.
A British man passed away at the age of 78 recently and had his body donated to science where they discovered he had 3 penises. Shania Twain was recently interviewed, and she said, "That don't impress me much."
What will make you happy, Shania?
Nothing.
What are you looking
There's
for?
never enough for that woman.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I found another reason to not have children.
Your list is getting longer by the day, brother.
There's a new U.S. Surgeon General warning that came out recently that says parents can be, being a parent can be harmful to your mental health.
Oh, God, obviously.
They say specifically parents in particular are under dangerous levels of stress, which is understandable.
All the time. You have to keep them fed. You have to keep them alive. You have to help them grow socially and mentally and
Financially
physically.
as well.
You are constantly under strain of not only trying to pay for them now, but think about their futures.
I'll also say that parenting can be bad for your health in general, considering 99% of us that are sick right now are because of someone's little bugger right now.
Oh, there's pink eye in my house right now. There's pink eye in my house. We're going through a lot of drops right now.
Also, and I feel like you'll agree with me when I say the kids are dangerous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, they will hurt you.
Dude, I didn't tell you this. My son Marcus straight up hoofed me in the balls 2 days ago.
Dude, you told me a week ago that you booked a vasectomy.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that you needed it. The amount of times, the amount of times that your kid has hit me in the nuts, I don't think I'm ever going to need a vasectomy.
I don't even remember what we were doing. We were just kind of play wrestling around, and all of a sudden he dropped back and hit me with a Shawn Michaels right in the beans. And I was just like, dude, what the hell is that?
I feel like you need to wear a jock around some kids, honestly.
I've thought about it. And depending on the kid, you should wear a cup. You should be wearing bite guards. You should be wearing chainmail. They don't stop.
I don't know if it's they don't want more siblings or what it is, but
There's a weird attraction from small children to striking you in the genitals that science has not yet explained.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
the amount of stories we are getting of people's kids beating them up on the text line is insane. There's people that are saying they've got broken ribs, broken nose, they've broke their arms.
It's wild just the damage that such a small, tiny creature can do.
And I also put out the question, how have your kids hurt you? Someone texted in and said emotionally or physically?
Well, I mean, that's just it, right? Like I talk about, my son's got a real bad habit of letting a nut shot slip every now and again when we start wrestling around.
Yeah.
But if you want to ask the question, how have my children hurt me? They make way more jokes about me being old than you ever could.
Oh, and kids can say the meanest things and not even realize it.
I got to deal with you all day, and then I go home to them, and they're like, what's up, bald man?
We do got a good friend of the show, Ashley, on the phone. Ashley, what do you got a kid-induced injury story?
Oh, yeah. I have had a black eye or two and a bloody nose from getting smoked in the face by one of my baby's big, solid heads.
You getting Zinedine Zidane by your baby?
Yeah, legit. You just be, sitting there holding them like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. I'm so blessed. This is amazing. And then pow!
The thing about it with kids and headbutts is how when they're really small, they can't quite hold themselves up?
They just rock around.
They become very floppy. So it's almost like when you snap your wrist to smack at somebody, it hurts more than just hitting them.
Their heads are so disproportionate to their bodies. So it's just wobbling around up there.
And the
you're not
worst part
holding
is
nothing
after you
still.
get smoked in the face, you're still supposed to hold their neck.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And not drop them. Be like, what the heck, bro? And then, people are very hesitant to believe that, you have a black eye from a baby. They're like, yeah, sure, your baby beat you up. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I would have felt really bad to be your baby daddy at the time,
Exactly. That's just it.
What happened to Ashley? It was the baby, I swear.
I swear to God, the baby headbutted her in the face. It wasn't me.
Sure, bud.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I do want to say thank you to the fine people at Value Village.
Oh.
As
Value Village.
Value Village. As I messed up, Courtney was like, hey, there's some stuff in the garage. If you wouldn't mind taking it down to Value Village.
Getting rid of it, yeah.
Turns out when she said that, She didn't mean everything.
Oh, you cleared it out.
I just started clearing. You know me, I hate junk, right?
Right, get it all out of here.
There's been stuff in that garage that I'm like, that's gotta go.
You
for
got
a while.
the green light to do some spring cleaning, and you did not hesitate.
So I brought a bunch of junk there, and there was one like big tote bin, and it had these old ass speakers. In the 5 years me and Courtney have been dating, never seen these speakers once.
Never been hooked up
So
to
I'm
anything.
like, all right, I bring them in there, and when I pick her up from work, I was like, oh, I brought all that stuff to Value Village, and she's like, well, what'd you bring? And I was like, oh, this,
Yeah.
and you know those old ass speakers. What?
Oh, no.
What? Those
Sa-
speakers? My mom bought me those
I was
speakers.
just going to say, sentimental value, I'm guessing.
I was like, what? And I was like, but you never used them. And she's like, are you serious? That's not the point.
Oh, no.
I had CDs in that speaker. And I was like, CDs?
in the speaker.
And then I realized I'm just defending I'm like, all
Yeah.
right. And luckily, they were still open. So I wheeled all the way to Value Village.
Yeah.
I talked to them, and they're like, all right, well, come. Like, look at the stereo section. All right, well, it's not out yet.
Good.
We go, like, what kind of bin was it? I was like, it was like a gray bin. We go, there's stacks of empty gray bins there. I'm like, oh, crap.
No.
Some guy is in the back. He's like, what time did you drop it off at? I was like 4,
Yeah.
4:30.
Okay.
And he's like, I think I know where it is. I've never been in the back of one of these places before.
No, I've been at the drop-off, and I've been, obviously, on the store floor.
They just stack them in these cages, basically, and it was at the bottom of the cage, but you can't get into it. So he had to, slightly push it
Raise
all the way
everything?
up. And it's an old, crappy stereo with speakers.
Yeah.
So he's struggling, and the guy finally gets it out, and he's like, here you go, man. And he's
Damn.
someone say that you weren't supposed to. I was like, yeah, my girlfriend. He's like, dude. I was like, I owe you one, man. Like, here, do you want $5? He's like, no. I get it, dude.
This is not his first rodeo, so to speak.
Saved my night.
That's fantastic.
I never got his name, but a round of applause for the young man at Value Village.
Shout out to that dude for being the homie.
Saved a long night of passive aggressiveness in my house.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I saw the worst news of all time. If you are the kind of person that maybe likes to have a couple of adult beverages in the evening time, scientists are saying that after doing some more studies, they have come up with a new best way to beat a hangover. It's not hair of the dog. It's not greasy food. It's
not Gatorade.
Some weird combination of Gatorade and Pedialyte. According to science, the best thing to do if you've got a hangover is 30 minutes of physical activity.
Screw that, man.
That's the first thing I thought of too, man. I was like, I would rather have a hangover.
If you're able to get out of a bed and do anything hungover,
Right.
I take that as a win. If you're able to get up and be like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, I don't think you were drinking.
Well, and think about the different kinds of workouts. Like, even between the two of us, right? Like, I do more of, weightlifting, and you're a runner.
Yeah.
Could you imagine going out, having a bunch of beers, waking up the next morning, you're feeling it, and just going for a 30-minute jog?
You're going to stink so bad.
It's just coming out your pores.
Well, also, have you ever been hungover and then still smelt like booze the next day?
Oh, 100%.
Imagine
Absolutely.
Standing at the gym beside some guy doing deadlifts or whatever, and you're like, you been drinking, man?
Dude, I'm just picturing doing big lifts, doing deadlifts, and I would just puke. I would be asked not to come back to the gym if I started trying to lift weights while hungover.
I mean, some people might look at you and be like, dude, that guy's going hard right now.
You're impressing all the other gym bros. That dude's intense.
You're sweating before you even get to the gym.
Well, that's just life. That's why I go to the gym. If I wasn't already sweating just walking up the front steps, I wouldn't have to be here in the first place.
Yeah. I'm not drinking the Gatorade because it's in me. I'm drinking it because I'm trying to get it out of me.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Is it real? Is it fake? Do we even care? Let's find out.
All right, Warped Tour is officially back. They announced 3 dates yesterday. And if you grew up going to Warped Tour, you probably listened to a lot of scene bands. And for some reason, in the early 2000s, all of these bands had really long-ass song titles. So I'm going to give you some song titles, and you have to tell me Is it real or is it fake?
Okay, seems easy enough. I mean, I'm gonna be guessing 100%. But sure, let's try it.
All right, we'll start off with this one. If you can't ride 2 horses at once, you should get out of the circus. Is that a real or fake song title?
I don't know if it's a real or fake song title. It does sound like great life advice if you're thinking about a career in the circus.
Sure.
So I'll say real.
That is real. That's the band Asking Alexandria.
Hey!
Next one we've got here. Anyone can dig a hole, but it takes a real man to call it a home. Is that real or fake?
I'm going to say that one's fake. Wow.
That is Christian metalcore band Under Oath.
What? Christian metalcore, eh? You know what? Needle pointed on a pillow. I'll put it up in my house.
Next one here. I sleep with nightlights so my demons can see me better.
That one's gotta be fake, right?
Oh, it's fake.
That's got Brock written all over it.
It's a great title, though, right?
It would have worked. 100%. You write a song, it'll make money.
Next one here. Turn off the lights. I'm watching Back to the Future Part 2.
Can you put a movie title in your song title?
Who says you can't?
Is that why? I feel like copyright would come into effect.
Real or fake? What do you think?
I'm gonna say fake. Real.
That is the band Dance Gavin Dance.
Also fake. I'm also saying that's fake.
No, that's real. That's real. Kick-ass band. Next one here. There's a fine line between rare and well-done steak, you absolute savage.
You know what? That's another one where I don't know if it's real or fake, but it's true, and I'll say true.
No, that one was texted in there.
You know what? It was the "you absolute savage" that should have been a clue. That's probably going too far for a song title.
What about this one? I got punched in the nose for sticking my face in other people's business.
I actually feel like I might have heard that one before. I'll say true. Real.
That is a Canadian band, Boys Night Out.
That's what it is.
The hot dogs at 7-Eleven remind me of my Uncle Bob.
That's gotta be fake, right?
It's fake.
Shout out Uncle Bob, king of the cheese dispenser.
Don't jump the shark before you save the whale.
True? Real?
That one's real.
Who's that?
That's a band called Broadway.
Broadway? All right, I'll check that out.
That's good life advice, honestly, too.
That's another one where it's like, man, this is something you should probably write down somewhere.
All right, and finally here. We better learn to hotwire a uterus.
We better what?
We better learn to hotwire a uterus. Is that real or fake?
I think, first of all, this one is bad life advice. Don't do that. But it's so weird. I don't think you came up with it, so I'll say real.
That is real.
Who's singing about hot wiring a uterus?
That is a band called The Fall of Troy, and it's a 59-second song. I still don't know what it means. And I think it's one of those things that, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A man in Greece was convicted of disturbing his neighbors by reportedly sneaking onto their properties to smell their shoes.
Sir.
When he was caught, the man said he couldn't explain his actions, but admitted he was greatly embarrassed.
He doesn't know why it's wrong, but he knows it's wrong. Somewhere in his soul, he felt like what he was doing wasn't the right thing.
I just want him to know, did they catch him mid-sniff? Was it on a Ring doorbell cam?
Dude, imagine that. Just like, excuse me. Oh,
is this yours?
I'm so sorry. Where were the shoes? Did he make it in the house?
That's the thing. It's unclear if he actually got inside the homes or they were just shoes that were left outside. But he did add that he had no intention of breaking the law or harming anybody. He just said, I just wanted to smell some shoes.
Just wanted to smell some shoes. Brother, go to a gym or something. Go to a local pool.
Don't be smelling anyone's shoes ever, man.
Well, I mean, listen, who are you to tell him what to do?
If you want to smell shoes, go to the Salvation Army and buy some used shoes and take those home.
Well, I would assume those get sterilized to some extent, right? I mean, the memories remain. But
Once a foot's been in there, you can't get that out.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what Ed has with his triumphant return.
Good morning. Yeah, today's word. Machinations. Yep, machinations. MACHINATION. Machination. And it's a scheming or crafty action or conspiracy. Yeah, we definitely don't go without that these days. Anyways, that's about it. Have a great one. Cheers, you're up.
Machination?
Machinations, yeah. Basically, like having a plan, having a plot, having a scheme to accomplish something. And like you said, it does play a lot into like the conspiracy world. So, like, if you had machinations on spying on the populace, maybe you would pretend that birds are real when really they're all drones.
Or don't trust anyone who messaged you from high school on Facebook. They probably have a machination.
They got machinations on trying to sell you things that are overpriced and useless.
I will also say, the way that Ed says it,
Machination.
it almost sounds like, you know when you're at Subway, I think we can all agree the best cookie is the white macadamia nut cookie.
White machinations cookie?
Can I get 2 of the white
Machination.
cookies? You guys got any of those white
Machination.
cookies out there?
When you know what you want, but you're not 100% sold on how to say it?
Even when we make a Costco trip, we always buy those cookies and we eat them so fast, just the one section of the white
Machination.
cookies.
Yeah, they're delicious cookies, absolutely. But you're saying it like Ricky from the Trailer Park
Is it
Boys.
machination?
Machination.
Give me them dressed all over chips.
Machination.
Machination.
Use it wherever you can today, all right?
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by the Brock and Dalby 50/50 raffle in support of Breast Cancer Canada.
Buy your ticket today at bcc5050.ca or click the link in the podcast description.